Yo, what's good? It's your boy, the urban legend, K to the fucking bird, KGUSA representative all day in the building. And today, man, I'm gonna be chopping it up and telling y'all about the first time I met Project Pat, yo. This right here gonna be about the first time I met Project Pat. And it's a real good story, you know what I mean? Alright, let's get into it. So, I was working with this dude in New York by the name of Big Trail, you know what I mean? I think he's from like the Bronx or something like that. He Puerto Rican, but I think he's just a mixed dude, black and white. But he grew up in New York and shit. Then he moved out to Memphis for a little while, and he been working with a lot of independent artists in Memphis, doing his thing, like, you know what I mean? He was a rapper at one time, doing his shit, doing shows, doing a lot of videos, and then he later became a sound guy for DJ Kay Slay morning show, you know what I mean? And with that morning show, he built a lot of relationships with people, you know what I mean? With a lot of artists like Dolph, Pat, you know what I mean? Yo Gotti, fucking Young Dro, Mano, Jules Santana. I mean, a lot of niggas, you know what I mean? He fucked with a lot of people in New York, even DJ Envy, you know what I mean? A lot of people know this cat, man. This guy was a blessing to come across. I ain't gonna front. Big Trail, gotta give him a shout out. And at the particular time when I bumped into Big Trail, it was because I was putting a lot of videos on WorldStar on the site. You know, not on the WorldStar YouTube channel, but on the WorldStar official site. And at that time, his side hustle beside working for Kay Slay was working for WorldStar, man. This nigga used to do promotion for WorldStar. So at one time, he built himself up and worked his way in position. And at the time when we met each other, he had just became over the YouTube channel, you know, the WorldStar YouTube channel. He was like the guy, you know what I mean? He can get your shit on there for cheap, and he can get your shit on there probably for free. You know what I mean? If it's the right kind of song and it's got the right potential, he get that shit up there for free. So he ran up the WorldStar YouTube channel with Project Pat, and that's how they became friends. You know, he started doing business with Project Pat, you know what I mean, selling verses, setting up video shoots, setting up collaborations. He was like Project Pat manager when I first met him. But the way that he found out who I was and discovered who K-Bird was by WorldStar. I had a song out on WorldStar at the time. I had two songs, maybe three. One of the songs was Dope Lines. Another song was Back at 'Em, which was featuring The Game from the West Coast, another legendary artist. And I'm going to break down a story about how I got that feature, but we're going to do that on another time. You know what I mean? Because that's a good story, too, about the feature from The Game. Because that shit didn't come easy. I went through a lot of damn third parties to get that shit. But this story is more direct. So he saw my videos and shit up on WorldStar, and he had liked the song Green Cracker Light, and he said, man, I'm going to let Project Pat check out this Green Crack song, man. I think this shit got potential. I think he'd be willing to get on it. So anyway, like, we been talking back and forth through Instagram, on the phone, and I was like, you know, I didn't really think it was going to happen because niggas always selling you a dream through WorldStar, always telling you some shit they can do and then it never comes through. But probably about a week goes by, and, you know what I mean, this nigga hit up my phone one day urgently, like hitting up my phone a couple times, and I was busy at the time, so I was like, damn, what's going on? So shit, I got on the line and hit him up, and he said, yo, Pat, want to get on that song? And I was like, for real? He said he fucking with that Green Crack song. He want to get on it. And you know what I mean, he willing to damn meet you, and y'all can do the session together. He recorded with you, and if you want to give him a little bit of bread, you could probably do the video with him, just to give him something for his time. And when Trail told me that, I was like, damn. But at first, I didn't believe him because he a New York nigga, man. And I fuck with New York to the top. I fuck with New York to the fifth power 100%. But they hustlers, and they will hustle the shit out you at any moment, at any given time. So when that nigga told me that shit, I still ain't believe him, yo. Even though he said all this shit, I know he worked for WorldStar. I see all the celebrities be on his Instagram page. But me, I'm a skeptical motherfucker, so I still ain't believe him. Nah, I still ain't believe him. So he said, man, what you doing, Bird? So like 3 days go by, and I keep on going back and forth with him. Like, you know, I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if I want to do this shit with Pat. I don't know. And he was like, yo, you trust me? And I was like, yeah, man, but you know, I'm still kind of skeptical about this shit. So that was like Friday night. And then Saturday, around like 7 o'clock the next day, the nigga called me, and Pat was on the line with him. And I heard Pat voice, and you know, he got a distinctive accent. You know, he from Memphis. And I love that Memphis style. And he came on the phone, and I was like, yo, this ain't really Pat, Joe. And he was like, I'm telling you, dog, this Project Pat, yo, I'm trying to damn do business with you. What's good? What's the business? You know what I mean? And I was like, so what's up, Wag? You really want to do that song? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, so where you at? And he was like, yo, I'm in Virginia right now, about to do a couple of shows, but you can come out here to Virginia to the personal studio, which is called, I think, the Sugar Shack, you know what I mean, by my dude. I can't think of his name right now, but he from damn, you know, he from New York too as well. He a hustler, but he always did business in Virginia. He recorded a lot of big artists like New Edition, a lot of big artists, you know what I mean. Matter of fact, his name just came to me, yo. His name is Spade Hayes, and the name of his studio was, I think, the Sugar Shack, you know what I mean. And it was in fucking Chesapeake, Virginia. So they shoot me the address or whatever, and he said, yeah, man, come tomorrow around like 4 o'clock, 4:30, we can do that shit. So boom, right after that shit happened, I hit up my cousin, damn, Dez, and I was like, yo, I know he got a license to carry permit, you know what I mean. I had a gun at the time, but, you know what I mean, I ain't had no license to carry, and I didn't want to go to Virginia without no license to carry. But I didn't want us to go up there naked without no gun, because you never know how this shit gonna go. Niggas be saying one thing and then saying another thing, you fuck around and get robbed. So anyway, Cheese was like, yo, I'm down with the ride, man, let's go. So I hit up Cheese, and we jump on the fucking road from the Carolina, leaving out of damn Myrtle Beach. We just ride that shit all the way to VA on I-95 straight up. So we get to Chesapeake, and I pull up at the address, and it was like a house, and I was like, oh shit, so they recording in a house. Alright, so I'm chilling outside for about 10-15 minutes. Next thing I know, I see a damn big ass, like dark green, money green type Escalade pull up on like 26s. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, who this nigga right here is? And like 2 niggas in the front that with the driver, and a nigga in the front seat, which is Ray, which I got stories about Ray, but Ray was a good dude. He was a good business dude, you know what I mean? So shout out to Ray for damn being a real nigga from Memphis that fuck with Pat Tough. So they jump out the car, and I was like, yo, none of them niggas look like Project Pat. And then next thing I know, out the back seat, there go Project Pat jumping out. A nigga like about 6'6". You know what I mean? I ain't no short nigga myself. I'm like 6'2", 6'2 and a half. I like to say 6'3 on a good day. But that nigga was out, and I was like, yo, that's real Pat. That's like Memphis legend, 3-6 Mafia, Juicy J brother, legendary artist, like shit Drake didn't bite from. You know what I mean? Drake daddy from Memphis. I don't know if a lot of y'all know that, but Drake pops from Memphis. That's why they always fuck with 3-6 Mafia and Project Pat them tough. So anyway, man, we get out the whip, we chop it up, we talking, you know what I mean, talking and chilling. You know, I already rolled me like 2 blunts just in case he wanted to smoke, but the nigga didn't want to smoke or nothing. He just said, yo, the studio in the back of the house. So the studio was set up like a outhouse, separate from the house, a Spade Hayes, and that shit was nice. It was a real nice setup, real good quality mics, good boardroom, you know what I mean? The shit was nice. So we go in there, we start talking about, you know, where I'm from, you know, representing Sandy Island, telling them where I grew up at, telling them this and that. He telling me about shit he used to do in South Carolina, how he used to be going through Charleston, doing this thing, you know, running packages from damn up to Memphis, down here to damn Carolina, getting the bag. And we just chopping it up now like some real good fellas, chopping it up. He drinking on a little bit of something. I'm burning my L, but he didn't want to smoke. He said he want to stay focused. So my verse and my chorus was already laid, and the internet is playing that shit over and over again, loud. So while he talking to me, he said, yo, I'm about to start focusing on his verse. So he just started writing his shit right there, man, right in front of me. Like, while my shit playing, he just going back and forth and saying, yo, I liking this, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say some shit like this. He said, how you liking this? He'd say 4 bars. I say, yo, that shit hard. Then he'd say another 4 bars. And I'm like, oh shit, you killing it. Then he said another 4 bars, and I'm like, yes. He giving me that real Pat tar. He He ain't giving me no damn rush verse and no bullshit. So that shit came out excellent, man. That shit was dope as fuck. And he went in the booth and laid that shit, man. It probably took him like 3 tries, you know what I mean? But he laid that shit straight. I say no longer than 30 minutes, 30 or 40 minutes from start to finish. He killed that shit. And I was like, yo, that's what's up. Pat gave me some real shit, and this shit fire. You know what I mean? The shit was fire. So after we played the shit a couple of times, listened to the shit, bumped the shit, a couple real OGs from Virginia pulled up. That new Dan Spade Hayes, and niggas been taking pictures with Pat outside talking about old war stories, about hustling, about prison time, real nigga shit. And I just been sitting there just chilling, chopping it up with them, playing my position, not being too loud, but just being me, you know what I mean? Cool as a fan and relatable all fucking day. And that's how that shit went down, you know what I mean? That shit was cool. We bumping the track, vibing with everybody, politicking. And shit, after everything was done, we was like, yo, this track banging. And he was like, yo, you want to do the video, man? We should do the video to this shit right now, bird. And I was like, you serious? And I said, you just dropped that shit. How you gonna remember that shit? He said, man, I got that shit in my head already. I'm ready, bro. Let's go. So then I told Cheese, I went to Cheese and said, yo, grab that camera out the fucking trunk, man. I know I ain't bring my real cameraman. I brought a video guy, but yo, we about to pull this shit off, and you about to film this shit for me, my nigga. And Cheese was like, I don't know, man. I kind of shook. You know, he been acting kind of nervous, kind of starstruck. But I know Cheese been around other celebrities before because, you know, Cheese brother real cool with the Outlaws and Young Noble and all that shit. They used to come down to the Carolina all the time. You know, them niggas been real down to earth. So I know Cheese been around real made niggas because the Outlaws back in the day were the truth. They were part of Pac. And that shit legendary in itself. So after we finished doing the video and shit, you know, in Virginia and Chesapeake, my cousin Cheese finished doing all the filming. We checking the footage, make sure everything is all right. We got what we need. And then me and Pat start talking about shows. I start talking about, you know, like doing some shit with him when he goes on the road. And he was very receptive to that shit. So I got a couple of shows with him around that same time. You know what I mean? Got to open up for him and Juicy J a couple times. And we also chopped it up about Young Dolph. Because Young Dolph at that time was like one of my favorite artists. Like one of my favorite artists. I was really fucking with Dolph. Presence, style, voice, everything about him, you know what I mean? So when I talked to him about Dolph, Pat was like, oh shit, man, Dolph, that's the homie, man. You know what I mean? He like family. I fuck with him. He fuck with me. And I was like, word? And I was like, yeah, man. Like, he said, yeah, man, damn, Dolph is like, that's our guy. Like, he always fucked with me and Juicy coming up. Especially him and Juicy did a lot of features together back in the day. So I was like, word. And I was like, yo, it would be I want to get a record with you and Dolph on that shit. And he was like, man, I already got a record with Dolph that's booming right now on the streets. It's on the Street God mixtape. And I was like, word? And he was like, yeah, man, shit, I can get Dolph on the line right now. And he called him. He hit up his phone and was talking business with him and told him, you know what I mean, that he probably was going to do a remix to that song they had. And Dolph was like, cool. You know what I mean? Just let me know who the artist is, you know what I mean? If he down with you, it's all good. And he was like, all right, I'm going to get back with you about that. So he hung up the phone, and then he started talking to me like, yo, you know the same way we remixed this Green Crack song? We can remix that song I got with Dolph called I Got Strong. You know what I mean? I said, word? And he was like, yeah, man. But just for that record, you just throw me a little something. Give me a little something on it. You know what I mean? And we could definitely have that for you. Get it chopped up by the engineer so you could just have the chorus and my verse and you could drop your verse and have the... So I was like, word, I'm down with that, bro. Let's do it. I got you. Gave him what the fuck he needed.